Hi, how's it going?
It's Tom. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for taking the time to do this interview.
Yeah, thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. No problem.
Oh, this is an absolute honor for me. Over the past 10 years, since I've been conducting interviews, this is an interview I've always wanted to do, and I'm so happy to be able to do this interview with you and talking about a brand new EP from Sodom, which is coming out next Friday through Steamhammer and SPV with Bombenhagel.
hmm Yes, you're right. Yeah, yeah.
And
Yes, I'm, I'm so proud, that we got a new EP out, a new single, because, yeah, we released Genesis 19, the album. It's not so long ago, but then we talked to the record company for doing a kind of single EP to promote the upcoming shows and tours. And if you can remember, we had a single called Ausgebombt in 87, in 88, with a sticker on it with the tour dates.
oh yes.
But all the shows get cancelled, and the record company, and we took this decision, bring it out anyway without a sticker, just to show the people we are still alive and still doing music.
Yeah, and I'm just so happy to see that too. I mean, with being able to do a new rendition of Bombenhagel and being able to have a couple new songs and being able to show off the new lineup once again. I mean, with Genesis 19 being one of my favorite albums of last year, and now with this year being able to get even more new Sodom, it just makes me very happy as a fan.
Oh, that makes me proud. That's good to hear. Yes, I think, yeah, that was the first album with a new drummer, with a new lineup. And I'm so glad to get this lineup together. It's like a family. I'm in the last years. I'm so happy to work with these guys. And again, it's a band. It's a family. And I'm so glad to get this drummer. The Tony is one of the best drummers in Germany, I think. And he's a big Sodom fan. He's very interested in Sodom, also in the Sodom history. And a couple of days ago, we had a show in Czechia. That was the first show after the Corona crisis. And that was also Tony's first show. He's a drummer who want to play live. And we have a band who want to play live. And I hope that we're able to do more shows in the next times, with the drummer.
And speaking of that, I mean, how was that show?
Oh, that was amazing. I was wondering, the people wearing no mask, and people standing close together. I think there was 3,000 or 4,000 people, and it was really strange, because in Germany you can do a show like this, with the people standing close together, drinking beer without any mask. It was strange, but for me, that was a new start, coming back on stage after this long time, was really strange, but I felt like coming home, and it was amazing. And especially in this show, we played the whole Agent Orange album. That was the first time in our career to play the first complete Agent Orange album, and doing some best of after that. It was amazing, and the next show will be next Saturday here in my district in Essen. So I hope all the confirmed shows find their way, on stage, and will happen. That's a bad situation for the musician and artist the last years.
Oh, it absolutely has been, and that's why I'm so happy to see that there is at least some shows that are happening your way, and the fact that your first time back in so long, being able to get back on the stage through this pandemic and being able to play the whole Agent Orange album, that just sounds like such an incredible time. And that the next show coming up next Saturday, and being able to promote Bombenhagel as well too, kind of like an album or EP release show there. I mean, that's really good timing.
Yeah, that's a good timing, and I'm so glad to come back on stage, because that was really, it was a disaster, because all the shows got cancelled just always a couple of days before we start the show, they canceled it, and we had so much we booked flight tickets, and we couldn't fly, and that was a big problem to us, But I hope that they find a way to do a show like this, And the next show in Essen will be, that was strictly limited to 1,000 people, that works, maybe. But I don't know what happened to the next shows, Today I got a message from a friend of mine. He want to come to Monterrey, to Mexico, when we have a show in October there, And I heard that it's a red district, where we can maybe they have to cancel the whole festival, you know. I don't know really. Nobody knows really what happened the next time, you know. But I'm optimistic all the time, you know, and I hope we can do the next show and next weekend. And we played in Belgium and all this stuff, you know. We have some single shows, some weekend shows, but we are not able to plan a tour, you know. That is a big problem, you know, to make a tour about 3 or 4 weeks, or it seems impossible nowadays, you know. But I never mind, you know, we are still working on new material. We are active, we are rehearsing 3 times a week, you know. And be together with the band, making music, you know. That is what I want to do, you know.
Yeah, and that's what's so important too, and I'm glad to see, you know, it's like, even though the situation, I mean, you can never predict what's going to happen if the new strain from the pandemic is going to be taking over again, if it's going to be dying down, if everything's going to get back to normal for next year when the festival circuit comes back up. I mean, there's so many variables in the air, but, you know, I'm glad to see that, you know, the worst case scenario, at least there are a couple shows that you are able to at least be able to get back on stage and enjoy, and just like you mentioned, I mean, being able to work on brand new material. I mean, seeing what you guys have done with Genesis 19 and with Bombenhagel, it's like, I'm so excited to see what that next album is going to be, because it really feels like right now the band is at the strongest it could possibly be at.
Oh yes, I think that was the only positive in the Corona, that we had spent more time writing songs, you know. But in the end, this brings no money, you know. But I'm live from the music, you know, and making shows is what we are living from, you know. That where we get the money from, you know. And but in Germany, you get nobody gonna help you, you know. That is a problem. There's a problem in politics, you know. If you're just an artist, you know, it's not so important. You don't get nothing, you know. Yeah, that is a big problem, you know. But I never mind, you know. I think we are healthy, you know. Nobody has problems with COVID or anything. We are still healthy. We are still creative, and making new songs, you know. And somebody asked me if we have songs for the new album. We have a couple of songs for the next album, you know. But that's what we have to talk with the record company, because in the next year we have the 40 years anniversary, so we have to plan something special, you know. And if maybe we talk about a live album or doing a kind of best of re-recording old songs, you know, that is what I'm talking about with a record company, you know.
Oh, that would be incredible. I mean, you know, again, you know, just like going off this current EP right here, Bombenhagel, I mean, I really enjoy the way that it sounds right now in 2021. So if there's like any chance of being able to do something like that again, I'm all for it.
Yeah, we choose Bombenhagel. You know, Bombenhagel, it's a classic, you know. It's an all-time classic Sodom. So we're going to play in every show, in every live set, you know. But there are different versions from Bombenhagel around on different records, you know. But this one, with a new drummer, you know, he's perfect, you know. It's the first Bombenhagel which is played straight to the point, you know. And I'm so glad we did it, you know. And yeah, that was just to promote the upcoming shows, and we have 2 brand new songs on it, which will be not released on the next album, or something really exclusively just for the EP. And yeah, some people told me, oh, they want to make money bringing out a new EP. We never make money with any EPs, you know. It's just for the collector scene, you know, and yeah, just to show that we are working, you know. And the new songs are great, you know. And there's a song Pestiferous Posse, which was supposed to be on Genesis 19, but Genesis 19 is about 50 minutes running time, you know. And the record company told us you cannot make an album with 1 hour or 70 minutes running time. So a couple of songs left, you know. But it's a great song, you know. And we choose the Genesis songs. We choose the best songs in our opinion, you know. So we have so much material all the time, you know.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm glad to see that even the songs that didn't make the album, you know, it's like a Pestiferous Posse. You know, it's like the fact that that can still have life to it, and you're still able to use it for this EP. And between all three songs, it's like I love seeing all these different sides of the band while still maintaining the fact that Sodom is staying so strong. I mean, whether it's staying fast, whether it's staying brutal, you know, it's just like there's so many different sides of the band that really make it so strong. And like you said, like being able to have this new lineup, having a brand new drummer in the band, giving more life to the band. I mean, just everything just feels so perfect right now.
Yeah, I think that doing with the second guitarist, there was a step forward, you know, in my opinion. Or when we're gonna perform a couple of songs live with two guitarists, you know, it's a brilliant sound, you know, and that was always my dream. I remember back when Berneman was still in the band, I talked to Berneman maybe to get a second guitarist, you know, and he always told me he never accept second guitarist by his side, you know, and that was a shame, I think, you know. And then when Berneman left the band, the doors were open for me to get a second one, you know. And Frank Blackfire coming back was great, you know. He's still a cool guy and still a cool guitarist, you know. And I'm so glad that Frank is in the band, because Frank is somebody who never really changed, you know. I remember when we did the first rehearsing sessions with Frank in our rehearsal room, you know. He had the same guitar sound like on Agent Orange or Persecution Mania, you know. And that is something what really refreshed the band, you know, if we have an old school guitar sound in it, you know. And that was also important on Genesis. We have that we recorded the guitars with a Marshall amplification, you know. We have no Kemper or digital plug into the computer, you know. Just recorded the instruments as they sound in the rehearsal room, you know. And that is very important to get to, you know, we cannot change the time, you know, but we can try to keep the spirit of old Sodom, you know, and bring it back to the new songs, you know.
Yeah, and, you know, I was so curious about that as well, too. I mean, what it was like being able to get into the rehearsal room and into the studio for the first time with the new lineup and being able to, you know, whether it's playing the classic songs, whether it's working on the new songs, whether it's writing for the next album. I mean, knowing that the spirit of the band all the way back, I mean, being able to rip solos from Agent Orange just like the way it's supposed to be sounding, and then, you know, maintaining that old school sound of the band, but being able to have that modern production of what's going on today. I mean, it's really the best of both worlds.
Oh yeah, so it was a great idea, you know. It's you know, you record everything on digital computer, you know. That is payable, you know. That's usual nowadays, you know. But on the album, you know, I want to make a mix on a big desk, you know. So we rent a studio and we spend a lot of money mixing an album on a real desk, you know, like in the 80s, you know. Which, in my opinion, is a special sound if you put the digital signals into an analog desk, you know. That is a special sound on it, you know. And working with a producer like Ziggy Ben, he's an old producer from the 80s, from the 70s, you know. You know, the band sitting in a studio and mixing an album, it's great, you know. But nowadays, most bands, they're going to mix on a computer. They recorded the songs at home, you know. But that is not the way we're going to write songs, you know. If my guitarist have an idea for a guitar riff, you know, he can record it at home with a computer. But we always arrange this in a rehearsal room together, you know. And that is important, you know. So I'm so glad with Genesis, you know. Genesis was successful, and Genesis was one of my favorite albums from the last years, you know. I also like Decision Day or Epitome of Torch or In War and Peace is great albums, you know. But this album has something special, you know. And yes, but we're always looking forward, you know. Genesis album is gone, you know. We are start writing songs for the next one, you know. And we're always looking forward, you know.
Oh, absolutely. And I couldn't agree with you more, especially with the sound. I mean, being able to have that going into a real studio, being able to be behind the board and being able to get the sounds that you're looking for. I mean, having that real authentic sound is always going to beat out any sampling or digital effects that can be so much easier to do nowadays. But being able to have that analog sound, being able to have the real musician being able to play is so important. And, you know, like and what you're doing now, like
Yeah.
being able to write with the new album and seeing where you're at now with Genesis, and just like knowing that's one of your favorite Sodom albums of the last few years, and just like having that high caliber of what's going on. I mean, I gotta imagine that the musical chemistry and everything that's going on with the band is just got to be so high, and it's got to be it's such a great feeling writing songs.
Oh yes, yes. It is. It was very. It was also very successful, and we entered the charts in the top 10. Which is not. I never mind. I don't. We never write songs for the charts. We write songs because we are metal fans. We are thrash metal fans. And we're gonna write the songs just for our fans. Not for the record company or for the publishers, whatever. And that is the meaning of thrash metal. Do what you want. We get no dictation from outside, no from a record company. Nobody gonna tell us doing this or doing that. We just do what we want. And that is the freedom, and that is the meaning of thrash metal, in my opinion. And if somebody gonna buy this album, it's good. If you don't, it's also good. We never mind. So I'm so happy in these days. With this lineup. And it's really funny. And yes, to change the lineup was a really hard decision with Bernemann. I think changing a lineup generally is a hard decision to me. But that was the best way to do it. Getting a second guitarist, getting Frank back, getting a new drummer, which is really tight, which is the best in Germany, It is a band nowadays, and I'm so lucky to get this lineup together,
And thinking about that, I mean, especially from your end, I mean, what was it like the first time that you were like playing a classic Sodom song in the rehearsal room? I mean, what was that like to be able to hear two guitars going at the same time?
That was great, That was, I know I'm a fan of three-piece bands like old Motorhead, old Tank, And I remember when Motorhead got a second guitarist, that was not more my thing, But nowadays we are able to perform on stage better, There are a couple of Sodom songs we never played before because we just have one guitar, In the studio you record 10 guitars, Nobody takes care, But now we are able to change the set list. What we're gonna do in the next set list, on the next shows, There were so many songs we never played before. We have so many albums out, And I talked to my drummer Tony. He said he's a big fan of all the Sodom stuff, And he told me, why you never played this song? Why you never played that song, Because with the lineup with Bernemann and Matter, we were not able, because Bernemann team's not really interested doing all the stuff in the set list, But now I want to change it, We have a couple of songs in the current set list where we never played live. There is better of that. We have a lot of stuff. We want to play more Tapping the Vein stuff. We want to play more Masquerade in Blood or Till Death Was Unite. We have so many albums out, And we always try to perform some rarities. We have to do all the classics, And we also have to promote a new album. But there are so many good songs we never played, And that is a shame, That's what we're gonna do in the next times, Because I'm a big Motorhead, I'm a big Slayer fan. But I remember the last shows with Motorhead or Slayer, they played the same set list over years, And that's boring, So I don't want it,
Oh yeah, and I gotta imagine, it's like for the fans and for yourself, like being able to open the floodgates and being able to play songs you haven't played before or haven't played in such a long time, and being able to mix that up with the classics. That's got to be such a great feeling. And just like when you told me with the past show that you did that you played all of Agent Orange, like I'm so happy to see those 9 songs getting that live representation in a row like that, because like you said, it hasn't been done before, but now you're able to.
Yeah, because the promoter is a big Agent Orange fan, And he asked me if we can play the whole Agent Orange album and doing some best of after the last song, That is no problem, Because Tony is a big fan of Agent Orange. Frank is in the band, He played the song. We had to rehearse all the songs because we never played them live, And we never performed in a rehearsal room, That was a good experience, And it was really funny to do, But I don't want to do it in every show, I cannot play in the whole album because we have to promote our new songs also, And especially on festivals where you just have 45 minutes, But what can you play, How can you choose a set list, That's really hard,
Oh yeah.
But, But if you have a 2 hours running time, you can do whatever you want, you know.
Oh yeah, and I mean, just knowing that that was even a possibility is such a great thing. And obviously, I mean, there's so many albums and so many great songs that can get that live representation now. And knowing that all of the band is all for playing any songs off any part of the catalog, I mean, it's limitless of the kind of set list that you can make, and being able to narrow it down, whether you are doing like a 45 minute set for a festival, or you're doing a 2 hour long headlining show. I mean, it's just like there's so many different options and varieties you can go with now.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do now. You know, that's what I think the Animal Whenever was really interested in doing this. But you are not the one, because when I miss so many Slayer songs in the set, or Motorhead or other bands, why they never played this, why they never played that, you cannot play, but you can change the set list from show to show, that you put more Bed of Dead stuff, or more Code Red stuff, or more very old school, and we booked a couple of shows in this year where we do a show with songs still Agent Orange, or inclusive Agent Orange, with more Persecution Mania, with more Obsessed by Cruelty, or even the demo tapes, there was a couple of good songs on it, and it's very funny and very interesting to do, it's not boring to do it, I like to do it, and I think if you're gonna are able to do the next shows, there will be a lot of surprise in it,
Yeah,
and I want to bring it, I want to bring it to US, I know the time is right, but we'll see.
Yeah, and I would very much love to see that happen as well too. I know it's been very unfortunate over time, being able to come over this way to North America, United States specifically. I remember back in 2015, I was on my way over to Maryland Death Fest when I got the news that you guys had to unfortunately cancel the show. And, it's just like that really bummed me out because that would have been the first time I would have been able to see you guys. But I'm really hopeful that in the future that some kind of possibility, some kind of way that I'll be able to see you live, even if it means that when the pandemic's over and I head over to Europe, I really want to be able to see this lineup in this form.
Oh yes, we are waiting at home. Our bags are packed all the time, And if we find a serious promoter who's gonna help us all, I know the Maryland Death Fest, that was a problem. Yeah, they told me they don't want to pay for the papers, You need the working, I don't know the name for the working.
Oh, the visas.
Or, yes, a visa working, and he told me you can go as tourist, And no, we can't, If you go to the border, maybe somebody knows, oh, there is a band Sodom coming in, what you gonna do here,
Exactly.
And if you're gonna do a show, you work, you need the papers, And we need a serious promoter who's gonna help us all, We can do a couple of shows, Why not, We played South America, we played Australia, we played everywhere, Russia, Why we never played in US America, It's not our fault, We won't,
Yeah.
So I think when this pandemic is getting over, and nowadays we are unable to go to US America. It's forbidden to go, But next time, when everything's going back to normality, that we can go, That is my dream, We don't need a tour for 8 weeks, but we can do the festivals in US America. We can do a couple of single shows, And I remember the shows in US America, always in Los Angeles or New York, We have so much. It was a big experience, and we had a good time there,
Yeah, very much so. And I always look back at those bills and tours that you were a part of, and they always seemed like they were just going to be some of the best shows that you could attend, and it was just so great to see you a part of those tours. And I have a feeling that's going to happen again once the pandemic's over, and hopefully with the new album cycle and being able to get the European festivals going again, being able to hit the other territories of the world, and even if it's just a couple shows or just like a mini tour or whatever the case is. I mean, being able to see you guys back here in North America and finally being able to see you live for the first time. I mean, I'm really looking forward to that time.
Oh, please. Yes. Yeah, all the US American bands coming to Europe and Germany all the time, All the bands are touring, like Exodus, Overkill, and Testament, all the bands touring Europe, touring Germany, But we never get a real chance, It's a shame, we just need a serious promoter who's really interested in and to gonna do a good job, to help us over, Our booking agency tried everything they can, And we'll see what happens next time.
Oh, definitely. And, And until then, I mean, I'm glad to see that again. Some great things are happening right now. At least a couple shows are going on right now. Being able to promote the new EP, and of course that's coming out next Friday. And I really love all 3 tracks on the EP. It's got me so excited to see what's going to be happening with the future with what might be my favorite lineup of Sodom so far. I mean, with what you guys have done with Genesis, what's going to be coming up in the future with the next release. I mean, it seems like, obviously financially things need to be better, but at least right now, like musically, chemistry-wise, it seems like it's the best time to be in Sodom, and I just can't wait to see that inspiration just going higher and higher and what that next album's going to bring and the possible touring and everything that comes along with it.
The next album will be a killer, We have a couple of songs together, but we don't know when we can release it, We need an option from a record company, but believe me, the new songs we have already, are killer songs, But we it's always important to keep the spirit, of the old Sodom and bring it back to the new songs, to the new arrangements, Very fast songs and very brutal songs, With a drummer, we are able to do everything we want, That is perfect,
Absolutely, and that's got me so excited. And, I think right there, I think that's an amazing note to end on, too. I mean, just looking at that positivity of what's going to be happening in the future and knowing that the songwriting process is going strong right now. Next year with the 40th anniversary, everything that could happen along with that, the next release, shows, everything to look forward to. As a fan, I'm so excited to see what's going to happen. And again, I'm just very thankful for you to be able to take the time to talk about this new EP coming out next Friday, the day after my birthday, which I think is a really good timing to be able to pick that up for my birthday. And then, being able to talk to you over the last half hour and being able to talk about Sodom. This is something I've always wanted to do, and I want to thank you very much for the opportunity.
I thank you so much. And I got the next one in the line, There was a lot of interviews today, But nice to talk to you, and take care, and hope to see you soon.
Oh, absolutely. Next show or next time to do an interview. I'm really looking forward to it.
Thank you, my friend. And thank you. Take care. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.